It's been a while since my last review. I've been thinking it over my whole review process, and it's time for a change. When it comes to a review, the real important aspects are if I recommend the ride, how does it compare, is it worth traveling to, and how do I classify the roller coaster. Classifications would be like family coaster, frontline attraction, filler ride, and so on. I think it's time to rid myself from the silly point scale, but with that said, I'm still bringing up some of my favorite topics like intensity and presentation. Before we get into today's review, please do me an incredible favor by clicking on that like button, and if you love roller coasters and theme parks, make sure to subscribe. Classification. Twisted Cyclone is a hybrid roller coaster, meaning it was originally a wooden roller coaster that has been converted to steel. The ride is designed and built by Rocky Mountain Construction. Twisted Cyclone is currently their smallest hybrid roller coaster, featuring 2,000 feet of track, standing 100 feet tall, 3 inversions, and a max speed of 50 miles per hour. Normally, a roller coaster by RMC would be considered one of the front-line attractions at any park, being that Twisted Cyclone by some is arguably the best roller coaster at Six Flags Over Georgia. It would seem that this ride is the front-lining attraction, however, being its size, capacity, and location, Twisted Cyclone is more of a solid supporting attraction. It's not meant to lead the pack. My opinion, Goliath is the best attraction at Six Flags Over Georgia, and Twisted Cyclone serves as an excellent side dish. Presentation. Like most roller coasters by Six Flags, presentation or theming is not their strong suit. This ride features nice white wooden supports with a bright blue track. The trains are nothing special, they basically remind me of many other trains designed that we can find at various Six Flags parks. The name is also very uninspiring. It's like the park got this name from a Six Flags name generator. The name is confusing actually. First there was Twisted Colossus, then Wicked Cyclone, now we have Twisted Cyclone. Don't be surprised if I mess up the name a few times during this review. The best aspect of the presentation is how tight this roller coaster is woven together. It's not crazy like Steel Vengeance, where you're constantly flying through the ride structure, but it does interact well with the supports. Ride experience. Twisted Cyclone starts off with a fun little pre-lift section that's full of those super small bunny hills and Outer Bank turn. After ascending to the top of the lift, the ride dives back down at a 75-degree angle. The coaster flies right up into what is being called a reverse Cobra roll. It's very similar to the horseshoe roll found on Maverick at Cedar Point. After these two inversions, Twisted Cyclone enters the giant wave turn. The coaster dives in between the station and lift and pops up into a short airtime hill before hitting the first overbank turn, sending you back around to the left. The ride does a nice airtime hill before entering the final inversion, a 0G roll. The coaster performs 2 back-to-back bunny hills before hitting another overbank turn to the left, sending you back in the direction of the station. Twisted Cyclone finishes off with a banked airtime hill followed by a snappy bend into the brake run. Twisted Cyclone, like most RMCs, isn't really that intense, meaning you're not going to gray out on the ride. Sure, the airtime at moments can get pretty crazy, but it's not going to stop you from rewriting this over and over again. This is a great rewritable attraction. I could see myself strapping in multiple times, if the line wasn't too long anyways, and having a grand old time. Airtime. If it's built by Rocky Mountain Construction, we have to talk about airtime. Twisted Cyclone features multiple moments of weightlessness and ejector airtime. My overall favorite moment has to be that wave turn. It's so much fun, you're floating out of your seat while tilted to the side at 90 degrees. If you like ejector airtime, you have a couple great pops of ejector, nothing really sustained. This ride, especially during the second lap around, stays low to the ground, performing some of those quick, snappy pops of air. If you want strong, sustained airtime, head on over to Goliath, but if you're looking for something a little bit more snappy, Twisted Cyclone is your man. Recommendation. With that said, yes, I do recommend Twisted Cyclone for anyone who is tall enough to ride it. Meaning, I don't think this ride is too intense that younger ones that could ride should hold off. My 8-year-old daughter rode it twice and really enjoyed it. She has been on many RMC attractions, and this one she liked considerably because it's not that intense. Twisted Cyclone is just a solid, fun ride. Finally, is this roller coaster worth traveling to? Well, that question comes down to what kind of enthusiast you are. If you're a completionist or an overall coaster nerd, then yes, you're going to want to travel to Six Flags Over Georgia and check out Twisted Cyclone, mostly just to experience that wave turn element. Now, if you are a casual theme park goer and live farther than 5 hours away, then my answer is no, Twisted Cyclone is not worth the travel. Depending on where you live, there are plenty of other great attractions nearby that are similar and quite possibly better. I wouldn't recommend a visit just for this roller coaster, but only if you are looking at the whole park. Newcomers to Six Flags Over Georgia will have plenty more to experience than Twisted Cyclone, so it's also worth the trip. But if you've done the park already but haven't snagged this credit, I'd say wait until their new for 2024 roller coaster opens. Well, that concludes my review of Twisted Cyclone. What do you think of this smaller hybrid roller coaster? And also, what do you think of this whole new review process? Tell me all about it in the comments below. Until next time, this is Extreme Thrills.